But yeah, no.
Of all the things that have been happening this week, and I mean on a serious note, and a real serious note, I was speaking to a friend of mine, a female friend of mine, and she was telling me a story about how she found out that basically she doesn't get paid as much as somebody in her team at this particular place that shall remain unnamed, who is male. And
for the same role.
For the exact same role. And this has been coming up in the news actually a lot. Not just now, but it's building up. And I remember kind of catching a statement or a tweet or something on my socials, somebody saying men, and don't quote me on this, men should be glad that women are standing up for themselves and not taking revenge.
Yeah, we should be.
And, it's a funny...
Who's taking revenge? I mean, yeah, some pathetic people.
Yeah,
if we're doing the same job, why are you getting more money than me just because you have different bits between your legs?
Everyone should be like, it should be, this is the money you get for the job, and then whoever gets the job gets that money. The idea of a gender gap, pay gap, is ridiculous in this day and age, and it all needs to start changing. The whole our societal creative the way society's created like expectations and what people have done it over years, where we've stereotyped and decided that women like, I don't know how they managed to justify it since after the World War that women aren't earning the same as us for the same job.
It's so archaic. It's just beggars belief that at the moment people are able to think that way. And I don't want to be one of those classic like, oh my God, people's rights just being squashed and so forth, because I think some people like fake outrage just jump on a bandwagon just to feel as though they're a good person. But genuinely speaking,
advocate for no reason. Just
completely. But it's so ridiculous because it's not just the small company. It's not just some person in a bakery somewhere that's been going for years, and and there are two people, one male, one female, and the old boy decides that this person does a bit less, or
it's not on that level.
It's on a massive.
Well, it's not. But those jobs are all paid the same. Yeah. So like hourly wages, those sort of jobs aren't the issue, because it's like a barmaid is going to be earning the same as a barman.
It's the bigger roles, isn't it?
It's the CEOs and the actresses and the musicians and all this sort of stuff, where somehow in the high end it's like there's a step up once you get into the next level, where there's been a definite chauvinistic or what's the word I'm talking about, it begins with M,
misogynistic
approach to treating women in the workplace that is ingrained in society. That's why people keep on, like, the fact that we've let it get this far for this long. Is what's baffling people.
Society just needs a slap in the face when it comes to.
Yeah, of course it does. But
that way of thinking.
This is all. It's all part of the. Hopefully, we'll be part of the generation. That this generation, we've learned enough that we can start stamping out all this sort of stuff. So, like the whole Me Too project and all that sort of stuff. That's all part of this. Finally, the writing is on the wall for this archaic sort of 70s generation of men who, the whole like the Me Too sort of abusers who have like used a position of power to manipulate and to get their way and to mistreat people for years. Because for years those people were the ones in power, and they're all patting themselves on the back going, oh, don't worry about it, Jim, it's all right,
it's the
mate.
stereotype of jacketed men.
But hopefully we're a generation now
and such
that are getting to the point where we're going,
that make no sense.
That's not, what do you mean? So how would you think it's acceptable for you to convince that woman
and
to
damn
do
right
this and all that sort of stuff?
I just think what I wonder actually is if everyone of our generation, and interestingly so, more so the younger generation, I'm in my mid-30s or whatever you want to call it, and we're in our mid-30s. I'm thinking about the 20-year-olds out there and the 25-year-olds out there who maybe have grown up in a very different kind of home where, honestly, dude, I had a conversation with another person the other day who told me that when they go home to visit their parents from university, their mum will always have dinner on the table for their dad at a certain time of the day, and so forth and so forth and so forth, and it just blew their mind. I think that way of thinking
Yeah, but
if that's happening in homes now, and you know, perhaps a mid-20s, whatever you want to call it, 20-year-old person has witnessed that for a long time, I hope and pray that they don't take that on and expect that to be
I mean,
the way.
There are gonna be people who have that life, and there's people that choose that life and that sort of stuff. But what needs to happen now is not the expectation that that's the norm. The norm shouldn't be that the level of power and decision making is like the guy goes out, the breadwinner, and then the
homemaker,
or the Neanderthal side of the man goes out, gets money or gets food, which is like what they used to in the old days, and the woman looks after the home and creates the food, and that's the stuff that's got to change. I mean, you are going to find females that like staying at home and cooking. You're going to find that. You're going to find males who also look for that kind of female, and you're going to find hopefully the opposite of that, where you've got the woman going out.
You
to
can
get
only
jobs
hope and pray,
choice and less of a prerequisite.
Yeah,
yes, exactly.
With most things, really, I think.
I think it's as long as conversations like this keep happening, and honestly, it will be squashed.
Without a doubt.
Or quashed rather.
It's like your friend. It's like your friend who came back from university. Like, I'm sure that tradition probably ends there for that particular household.
Yeah.
Because, you know, once they get to their house, they'll be like, you don't have to put dinner on the table for a certain amount of time.
And rightfully so.
It's like, if you want to cook. If you don't want to cook, we'll figure it out. Like most couples do now.
Yeah, I mean, I would in like my relationship, like, I would never ever dream of expecting anything. Like,
if anything, we're the direct opposite.
Exactly.
I remember as kids, actually, I think we've always been this way. Probably because we have strong mums, you know, and strong mums are, shout out to all the strong mums out there, but
right on.
It's so important to have that in your life, and if you don't have that in your life, it's important to have a female figure who is strong, so you can see that strength. In this particular example, anyway, I think our mums were just like no nonsense, didn't have any nonsense from dads or any man or any person, you know. So it's been instilled in us. My mum ain't having none of that business.
No nonsense.
Trust me. But I think, you know, sometimes although she can be a difficult person, I think she's had to be that strong.
Yeah, no, I don't think she's difficult. I just like the fact that she's fierce.
Yeah, and it's a good thing.
Fierce.
You know, I like that fact about it, and you know, I sincerely hope that as we get older and we kind of like get to our sort of 60s and 50s, we don't get to see so much more of that nonsense that's going on. Really,
I'm definitely the influence my mum's had on me. As I'm a proud feminist, I would say. People assume for some reason the way I talk, and obviously I like football and all this.
Well, that's the stereotype, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but people often assume that I'm some sort of misogynistic, you know, what are they called?
Dickhead.
Yeah, thanks. Exactly that, me. Yeah, nice one. Cheers. But
you're asking.
I was searching for a word, and I
that's
didn't know.
That's a very good word.
Dickhead, yes.
You're not really.
But people assume that I'm all like, yeah, well, tell you what, that bird over there, she's a bit like, and all this, and it's just not me at all.
No.
But that's all down to the influence my mum's given. So I hope if I'm lucky enough to have kids or daughters or whatever, that I definitely instill that belief from the male perspective of the appreciation of the females in society. You know what I mean? Because in society, it will slowly change. But that's the thing. We need to, that whole idea that it's acceptable for a builder to be able to intimidate a girl and he's just having a bit of fun. But you know what I mean? Just that sort of like that sense of feeling of it's similar to the Black Lives Matter argument, right? Where people are going Black Lives Matter, and then some idiot will go All Lives Matter, and you go, no mate, I get that.
You're
but until we get to the point where Black Lives Matter isn't needed anymore, whereas because people aren't killing them in a way that's is proportionate to everyone else. Like it's like having an endangered animal and going, this animal's endangered, and everyone's going, you should protect this animal, and then someone going, you need to protect all animals. You go, I get that. That's nice, but could you really focus on? Could you focus on the animal that's about to be extinct? Like the rhino, let's look after it before it goes, because otherwise it's gone. And it's the same sort of Black Lives Matter, where you kind of go, like let's not dilute the argument by trying to focus on everyone. Let's just go where the problem is.
It cannot be done without people having conversations and being able to be taught something. It's one, exactly. It's one thing to be strong-minded and opinionated, you have to be able to allow some information in. And I can tell you many people who are just incapable of that. Ironically enough, because of things that they've experienced growing up, being hard-headed and I'll be really honest, a lot of those people that I know who are like that or have experienced in life have been males of a certain kind of stubbornness or ilk, if you like. But I will forever, like you, and I hope all of my friends that I know, go on a bit of a mission to try and inform people of themselves when they display behaviours like that. Really,
challenge people and ask them particular questions and see what they think about stuff. Because sometimes it's a case of they really haven't spoken to people about these things. It's just an idea they hear in a pub or from people in their circle, but they don't really get outside that circle, or no one outside their circle challenges them on certain issues.
There's nothing wrong with naivety.
Yeah, that's fine. If you don't know, you don't
it's
know.
absolutely fine to
It just means you haven't shown better.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not like
ignorance
you could be ignorant and then you go, that's worse than being belligerent, where you fucking know that you're wrong. Or that people have saying it and you're just like, no. But we're in ignorance, like, you haven't had a chance because you, through your life experience, your own circle, whatever, you haven't been shown that, maybe there's another way or a different option to it. Yeah. So ignorance is a problem, but it's not an unsolvable problem. It's the belligerent traditionalist. The problem about society is tradition. We hold on to tradition.
You've hit the nail right in the head, mate. We hold on to tradition, honestly.
like it's some sort of like...
Can't forget the old ways, mate. Can't forget the old ways.
But we do. What we got to do, we got to take tradition and take the good things out of tradition, and just be happy to fade away the shit.
Yeah,
and not go like the past. And just suddenly go, oh yeah, that was inappropriate. Yeah, we didn't need that. We don't need that.
But it's easier, or would you say that it's easier to go on being blissfully ignorant, as it were? Rather than to be challenged and to face things that you would perhaps find
ignorance
difficult.
Ignorance is bliss, they say.
So by definition, I suppose.
So people want to be
happy,
and most people they just don't want to challenge their status quo in their group, in their environment. Down the pub, Terry, he's a lovely fella. All the boys think he's a right laugh. He's having a great time. They're all having a lovely drink. Everyone's getting on. Why is he suddenly going to turn around and go, Jason, stop saying those jokes about it? You know what I mean?
And shout out to all the Tells and Terrys on the planet. This is just purely an example.
Names.
But I reckon
no one wants
that
to be
particular
that
kind of
pub.
stereotypical kind of behaviour or laddie, rather, I should say, stance on things still exists today. And a lot of it stems, again, from just upbringing and tradition. Tradition is something that people should challenge all the time, like you say, and filter out the bad and leave that in the past, as you say.
The thing with tradition as well, it tends to reinforce a lot of power structures as well. Tradition, so when you challenge certain people, you're challenging the actual their power structure and how they operate and how they see the world and how they move about in the world. So again, when you start talking to people about certain things, they're like, don't challenge my power. Well, this is where the belligerence comes in. Like, don't challenge my power because you take my power away, mate. I got nothing. So therefore, I need to believe in this. I need to hold on to this. And this thing needs to be driven forward because once you take that away from me, I'm just another
human being.
Tom,
and
Dick,
that's
and Harry
scary.
on the road. Like,
and
anything can happen to me at that point.
Yeah.
Then you're just scared at that point. And when you're scared, you say and do stupid things.
Boys,
I think.
It's been a damned good conversation, and ending on such a strong point, I think, is important too. I really think if there's anyone out there that you know who still thinks in this way or thinks that it's okay for somebody to be less equal to others, then tell them about themselves.
You got to challenge people, talk to people, ask them questions.
That's what we need people to start doing, not being so complicit. If the moment of awkwardness of telling someone, oh, you know what, like, don't do them jokes. Or,
why do you think that's okay?
Those jokes, I think...
Don't shy away from them.
The quicker we just start stamping out the nonsense, the quicker society will develop and move on for the better.
That's a double-edged sword, that one, though, as well, don't it? Because, again, with everything, you have people who take it too far and everything becomes a problem at that point.
But sooner have the attempts to bring the stuff into the light.
Through dialogue and conversation. And reasonable conversation.
Yeah.
Not through, like, don't just take a chair to someone's head because they made a joke about
that's
going home.
We're definitely not advising any
it's that
chair.
It's that outrage. The outrage is a weapon. It can be used as a weapon.
That needs to be moderated.
You gotta. I'm not saying go out there and start punch us. We're just saying just
get your reactions in check. Keep your reactions in check, but check your reactions.
Let's be real about certain things. It's not the end of the world.
Thank you very much.
Oh, cheers, mate.
Nice.
You're welcome.
Well, we'll come back again soon to this very fancy spot.
Yeah, I do like this spot.
And to all you guys listening, this has been the Irrational Review with Irrationale and Bobby Kane and Mr. Vino White. Thank you for tuning in and speak to you next week.